Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jillian and my husband and I are working our way through our budget for the month of January, and I thought I would do our monthly budget overview with you guys this month. So what I do is I sit down at the beginning of every month and I review what we've got coming in for income and what the bills and expenses. We have these ones set up to automatically come out of our account every month. And then I will go over what we're going to set up for our debt payment and what we have set up for sinking funds. I like doing this even though I plan by paycheck, because my husband and I are both paid bi-weekly, but we actually get paid on opposite weeks. So every week there's a paycheck coming into our household. But I like to have an overview of what's happening for the month and where the money is going. So where we're in the first week of January, and the first paycheck for January will be coming in on the 5th. I'm going to sit down today as it's January 1st, and I'm going to go through this monthly budget. I've already gone over this with my husband. He has agreed to all the numbers. So now it's just a matter of planning it out. So let's get started. Sorry about the angle. I cannot write straight up and down. I'm sorry. So like I had said, on January 5th, we have my husband's paycheck will be coming in. And so we have estimated his as of right now based on what he worked last month. My husband works shift work, and there are a lot of shifts that he ends up having to work overtime. So his pay is not consistent. So what we did is we looked back over the last 2 months and we are taking an average of what he brings in. This could go up or it could go down. My paycheck, I am essentially a salary employee. So on the 11th, I always get $22.94 as my take home. Since changing jobs in September, I no longer have shift differentials. I no longer have like evening and weekend premiums or any of the extra duties that would go along with being bedside nursing, such as charge nurse, things like that. So I do miss that. I sometimes I'm bringing home significantly less than I used to, but the stress is less. It's all a payoff, I guess, or a trade-off. You get one thing, you give up another. So, and actually this is $22.94.25. Not that the 25 cents is going to make a whole lot of a difference, but that's what it is. So we'll write it down. And then on the 25th would be my last pay of the month, and $22.94.25 again. So off camera, I added this up, and it's $92.72.50 is what we are projecting as our income for this month. So what I'm going to do is list out all of our bills for the month, and I've done them in the date that they come out of the account. And I've done a monthly total. Some of these will be paid weekly or bi-weekly, but just for the purpose of the month and seeing where things work out, I did it up as in what the monthly amount would be. So my life insurance comes out on the 1st, and it's $61.81. We have our Iberostar membership, and before any of you can make a comment about working our way through debt and we should cancel that membership, we have tried. We've contacted a lawyer. We have done everything that we could. But last January, when we were on vacation, they reeled us in with this great membership package to Iberostar while we were there, and they only give you 5 days to get out of it penalty free, and after that it is an ironclad contract, and we are locked in for 4 years. So we are just living with that very expensive mistake and moving on. So then we have our line of credit, and that comes out on the 2nd, and it is $242.92. We pay into Graham's tax-free savings account every time he gets paid. So that would be on the 5th and the 19th. And that is $50 each time for a total of $100 for the month. We also pay into an additional contribution into his RRSP. So that is done every pay. So I don't know why I find it so challenging to write RSP. Every time I try to write that, I put an extra R in there. So that's his RRSP, and it is $50 a paycheck extra over and above what he pays automatically off of his pay every time into his pension. So that would be $100 for the month as well. Then we have a loan. This is for my degree and an old consolidation loan, and it is paid every week, so I'm not going to put anything down there. And our total for the month is $469.60, but we do pay that weekly, so that is $117.40 a week that we pay. So then we have our mortgage, which is also paid weekly, and that is $875.64, which is actually $218.91 a week. We chose to pay our mortgage weekly as it puts more on our principal of the loan every month instead of just paying on the interest. So sorry if you guys could hear some noise in the background. My dog just walked into the room, and he is 135 pounds, so he's not really a light walker. And he likes to be in the room where I am, and wine, apparently. Hello. No, you can go lay down, please. So Graham's life insurance comes out on the 10th, and it is $14.70. And then next on the list would be my RRSP, which is paid on my pays, so on the 11th and the 25th, and I pay $55 additional into that. I'm not actually sure why mine is different than Graham's. Must have just been how we set it up when we were in with our financial advisor. So that's on the 11th and the 25th for a total of $110 for the month. Then we have a car payment. This is going to be paid off at the end of March, and I am so excited. That is also paid out of my paycheck bi-weekly, and that payment is $180 each pay, and so that is $360 a month that goes towards that. Next we have Netflix, and it is on the 18th that it comes out, and it is $18.96. We have internet also on the 18th at $117.24. We have our car and home insurance, which also come out on the 18th, and combined they are $412.18. It actually all comes out in one payment, but they're all with the same company, so that's enough. That's how that comes out. Bank fees are next, and they are on the 20th, and they are $14.95. Our cell phones with TELUS are next on the 20th as well at $148.97. I'm so sorry about the noise. He just went down the stairs, and he's, like I said, he's not a light walker. Then we have Trupanion, which is our pet insurance. So as I just mentioned, we have a Mastiff, and he's a bit of a baby. We love him dearly. Couldn't imagine life without him. But we also have a Rottweiler mix. He's a rescue. He's getting older, so he doesn't come up and down the stairs as much. So we have pet insurance for the two of them, and that comes out once a month at $217.79. And I don't know about you guys, and I might be on a bit of a tangent here, but if you have pets, get pet insurance. We have, with our Mastiff, we had, he had cherry eye that developed when he was quite young. I think he was only 6 or 7 months old when we first started to notice it, and then it got significantly worse. And we had it fixed at our local vet. Thankfully, we had Trupanion. We paid our deductible and our copay, and they covered everything else. Unfortunately, the first surgery failed, and it prolapsed again, worse than the first time. And we had to go to an eye specialist in a different province. So the eye specialist was actually in New Brunswick, and we had to go, and the surgery was almost $3,000 just for that one surgery, plus the travel and everything like that. And thankfully, because we had already paid our deductible for that medical expense for him, they covered everything except for 10%. So we were so lucky when it came to that. It really did save us. So I will gladly pay the $217.79, and especially where our other guy is getting older. He's 9. Who knows what could start to happen with him now. He's, as a mutt, been not quite as expensive, but you never know when things could change with them. So we are very happy to pay this every month, and we will continue to do so. So all of our recurring monthly bills add up to $3,828.50. And then how I normally do it is I come over and I do the sinking funds next. The first half, I think there's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's 10 or 11 at the beginning that, other than eating out and entertainment, they are the necessities for our household. So if things were something was to happen, they would also be things that we would have to pay for every month. So the first would be groceries. We went through and figured out how much we spend each month and averaged it out. So we budget for $400 each month for groceries. We do our best to shop local, shop the sales to keep ourselves in that $400. But groceries are so expensive, even just as 2 adults in this household, we find it challenging at times to stay within that budget. Gas is $300 a month. I work from home, so that has eliminated one of our vehicles leaving every day. So now my husband is driving the car, which is much cheaper on fuel. So this $300 is actually does us quite well. So it's $75 a week. For pet care, we do $50 a week, so it's $200 a month. Our 2 large dogs eat a lot, and so therefore even just their food is almost $70 every week and a half to 2 weeks. So I always like to make sure that we've accounted for that. And like I mentioned earlier, we have to pay 10% as our copay for their insurance, and we have to pay the first 200 of every medical claim that we submit for them. So we always like to have a little bit of money set aside in case anything was to happen. Eating out, we do try to cook at home as much as possible together. But sometimes when you're out and about and life is busy, it sometimes is nice to just stop and get a meal. And we've discovered that in our area, for the two of us to eat out, like from an actual restaurant, and I'm not talking about like McDonald's, like if we were to order from one of our local restaurants, we're looking at $50 for the two of us to eat out. So we usually budget $50 a week just so that we can treat ourselves if we need to. Household is next, and it gets $100 a month. So we put $25 a week into this. And those are things such as toilet paper, paper towel, cleaning products, just basically anything to run the household. Then there is self-care. That would be for things such as toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, soap, things like that. And it's $80 a month. Entertainment is next. This would be the first thing that would get skipped if we were short in like if my husband actually didn't work anything over his hours, and they don't do smoothing with his job, and where he works shift work, he could have 72, 84, and 96 hours are his varying weeks. So I think this is based off of his 84-hour work week. I'm not sure. But if he's working a 72-hour week and he doesn't have any overtime, it definitely wouldn't even come close to this. So we're working on figuring out what works for us here. So if there's a week where something needs to be skipped, the entertainment would be the first one on this list, and eating out to be skipped and not stuffed that week. Miscellaneous is anything that we've just, if we go over on anything. I just realized that while I was talking, I totally spelled entertainment wrong. I apparently can't talk and write. Oh dear. I knew that didn't look right. Gosh sakes. Let's try that again. You guys were probably watching that going, what is she doing? What kind of language is that? All right. So then, like, miscellaneous would be anything that was, if we had an overage in groceries, or there was some unexpected expense that we hadn't accounted for, that's where it would come out of. My husband and I's spending for the month, we each get $50 a week. So that would be $400 for the two of us. Vehicle maintenance. We have an older van as our second vehicle, and it is, oh gosh, how old is that van now? I think we're looking at 14 years old now. But it's paid for, so it literally isn't costing us anything except for occasional maintenance. So we put $100 a month towards vehicle maintenance, and like that would cover things like tires every year, or not every year because you don't need tires every year, but like if we need tires or oil changes or just any of that stuff that would go along with maintaining our vehicles. So that gets $100 a month. memberships, that would be things like our Costco membership, our Prime membership is paid annually, so things like that go into this sinking fund, and so that gets $40 a month. Home renovations, we have a Century home. We live in a home that is, I believe, 180 years old. And with that joy comes things that need to be repaired. So we try to put $180 a month into the fund for maintaining our home. For our anniversary, we like every year to go to fancy dinner and usually a night out somewhere. So with that, we are saving $80 a month, and that also includes a pet sitter for that evening. Gifts and birthdays get $60 a month. Travel, so as I had explained earlier, we have an Iberostar membership, so we try to do an annual trip somewhere to an Iberostar resort to take the advantage of the fact that we have that membership. So we try to put $200 a month. We are sort of following the Dave Ramsey guidelines. We saved up the $1,000 for the buffer for our account. And then now we are working on aggressively paying off our debt. And I know that Dave Ramsey doesn't suggest that you travel while on working through his steps, but the way we look at it is, for starters, travel would probably be the first thing that would be one of the first things from these categories that would be eliminated if we had to. But we are locked into this for 4 years, and I don't want for 4 years to not be able to travel. Travel is important to us. We like to, and if we're not going away to a resort, we travel to another province in Canada to visit my husband's family and friends. So we like to account for that, and we're not going, if we can afford to, we will continue to do so. Mother's Day and Father's Day gets $40 a month until those have gone, and then I would probably cut that back to $5 a month. But where we just started this month, stuffing that, I want to have appropriate amounts for those for our parents and things like that. So next is Christmas. And we discovered this year that we did not plan appropriately for Christmas. We did not account for food, baking, having to ship gifts. So we did not budget enough. So we are amping up our savings for Christmas for the coming year. So it gets $120 a month. We don't really do anything for any of the other holidays. We don't have kids, so we don't do Valentine's Day. I don't really think that it's necessary for us to do things for each other on Valentine's Day. It's a consumer holiday, and I don't agree with it. So St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, all of those things, we don't have children, so we don't really put money towards those. So Christmas would be really the only holiday we cash stuff for. And then clothing will get $40 a month, because you never know when you might need some new clothes. So this all adds up to $26.80. And then I know each month that I am going to prioritize putting money towards a monthly challenge. I do a challenge each month, which is a goal of saving $500. My husband and I have talked about this in our plan at the end. Now that we have our $1,000 buffer set aside that this $500 that I save is probably going to go towards a debt payment. But because I'm trying to curb my spending, I love shopping. I will be the first to admit that. That's the reason, part of the reason we're in the situation we are. I need to have some fun out of this. I find a lot of this very tedious. It's not something that I want to do. So in order to make it a little bit more fun, I do a savings challenge. It gives me the joy of hitting a goal each month. So I plan each month for having 500 towards a challenge. So then we are actively working on paying off our debt, and there will be another video where I review what our debt is. But for right now, each month we have Graham's credit card, which is Capital One, and it gets $500 a month. Home Depot, this is actually paid every week. We pay $70 a week on this because we had to replace our dishwasher last year, and Home Depot had this promotion, I guess is what it is, that if you purchased any appliance on your Home Depot card, you got no interest, no payment for 18 months. So we put it on our Home Depot card and have diligently been paying $70 towards the dishwasher every month. It is not due in full until May. But because of how Home Depot or any credit card that would give you the no interest, no payment deal is, no, you do not have to make a payment in that period of time. But if you do not, they compound the interest from day one of your purchase through every month that money sits there. And it's not just a it's a huge interest that goes on that. So we've done that a couple times for any appliances that we've had to replace here. It is literally the only thing our Home Depot card is used for. And it has been a lifesaver, and it has saved us a couple times, and we're very diligent. It's literally the only credit card we actually use appropriately. So this will be paid off by May. Then there is my credit card, and it is getting the most this month because it only has $1,400 sitting on it. And so my goal is over the next 2 months, that card will be paid off. And then the last one is our Visa, and it gets $500 a month for a total of $2,000 towards our debt. So of this $500, our minimum payment and our interest is included there, plus a little bit extra. This one is like minimum payment, and there's only interest charge if you don't pay your outstanding balance, like any current charges or something like that with my card. So I actually haven't had any interest charges on this credit card, and my minimum payment is only $28. So this is going on a lot that's there on the outstanding balance. So that will go a long way to having that paid off. So then the last thing to make everything balance is we've decided to put the remaining $260 into other savings challenges of $260. So that brings that up to $760. I know that really this whole amount should just be going on up here, but like I explained earlier, I really enjoy doing the savings challenges, and at the end of the month, this $760 is going to be a lump sum payment on one of our outstanding debts. So I'm not really worried about actually putting these down here at this point. So our projected income is $9,250. Our debt payments are going to be $2,000. Oops, extra zero there. Bills and expenses are $38,2850. And our sinking funds are 30. That's not right. Oh, sinking funds and savings. I was like, that doesn't add up, but I forgot that those two add up because it says sinking funds and savings, $34.40. So now, unfortunately, we do not get my husband's pay stub until the day that he gets paid. So what I will do is the day he gets paid, I'll write in the actual amount here, and then I'll go to my weekly paycheck breakdown, and I'll kind of do the same thing again, but with our weekly amounts, and figure out how that looks and what we're actually going to be putting. And then at the end of the month, I come through and I fill this out and look at how we did, and if there's any areas that we overspent, underspent, and if anything could be adjusted for our numbers. So thank you so much for watching our monthly budget overview. I hope this has helped in some way, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks, and have a great day.